Shalom, it's Tawab Payah from the Province Rhode Island camp. I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation to the brothers that are laboring throughout the four corners of the earth in truth and sincerity. It's going to be part 3 of the Genesis 49 series. And in this video, going to be going over Judah, the tribe of Judah. And ultimately, this series is to edify whomever may want to know who they are according to the Bible, who their brother is, and also who their enemy is, because the enemy will be mentioned in this series. And Thawadi Yahweh Shem Yahushua for pouring the Spirit upon me to continue the series, man. You know, Barakatah Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So with that being said, this is Genesis 49, verse 8. Judah in the Hebrew is pronounced Yahweh, and it means Yahweh thanks. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, okay? And his name means he is, he to be, or he exists, all right? So continuing on, it says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise, right? Because Judah, Yahweh, is the top tribe of the nation of Israel. It is the number one tribe out of all the tribes in the nation of Israel, okay? They were selected to be the top tribe, all right? That's why the brethren shall praise Judah. In fact, another reason why is because our Lord Yahweh Shai, the son of Yahweh, okay, he sprang out of the tribe of Judah as well. All right. And to prove that, we're going to go to Hebrews chapter 7, verse 14. It says, for it is evident that our Lord Yahweh Shai sprang out of Judah. Okay. And it reads, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood, right? Because the priesthood initially was for Levi, lawyer, all right? And with Yahweh Shai coming, all right, and through the order of Melchizedek, okay, the priesthood opened up to all the tribes. All right, but now that's a whole nother lesson. So let's go back to Genesis 49 in verse 8. It says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. All right. So what I want to do real quick is I want to go to another translation just to get a better, simpler understanding of what is being said here. Now, I mean, you know, go to different translations sometimes to, you know, like I just said, to get a better understanding. But the edition preferred is the King James Version 1611 edition. All right. So in the NLT, Genesis 49 and verse 8 says, Judah, your brothers will praise you. You will grasp your enemies by the neck. So this is a prophecy. Remember, this is a prophecy that his father, Jacob, Yaquab, is telling him, okay, that is going to come to pass at the latter end, all right, of days. So real quick, I'm gonna read it again. It says, thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies, right? Because we're coming to a time where, okay, all hell is getting ready to break loose, right? Jacob's trouble, all right, MOTB, all right. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to put the spirit upon Judah, and not just Judah, but also the rest of the nation, the rest of the tribes, okay, to get back in their warrior-like state of mind, man, to raise hell. All right, let's go to Isaiah 11 and verse 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, um, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. You're starting to see the nations start to get along again, although the curses are still lingering. But you know, you're starting to see the curses be overturned and put upon our enemies. But Judah shall not vex Ephraim. Okay, meaning the northern and southern kingdom shall not be beefing no more. They are actually going to join together in one stick, as it's talked about in Ezekiel the 37th chapter. All right. Um, verse 14, but they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. We're in the west, right? Says they shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. All right. So hands are going to be put on our enemies. They're going to be put our oppressor. All right. As it said, thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Now let's read a little bit about our enemies here in Psalms the 83rd chapter. All right. I'm gonna get to the point. Psalms 83 and verse 6, it says, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebel and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, Asher also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah. All right. So this is just a little list of couple of the enemies, but ultimately anyone outside of the nation of Israel is an enemy to Yahweh Shem Yahushua in his nation. And not even just that, but everyone outside of the elect of the nation of Israel is an enemy. Okay, so let's go back to Genesis the 49th chapter in verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Right? They're gonna have the enemies in subjection in the kingdom of heaven, man. The kingdom of heaven, there is no heathen that's going to be above the Israelites. Okay? Those that were in captivity, okay, those that had the Israelites in captivity will be serving in captivity. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 16. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. See, Genesis 49. Let's go back and finish that verse off. 49 verse 8. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Right. Because, like I had previously mentioned, Judah is the top tribe. Okay? Judah is the top tribe. They are actually the tribe that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is gonna raise up first, has raised up first, actually, to get this truth out. Starting with Rabbi Abba Bivens. Okay? Matter of fact, started with Rabbi Abba Bivens, who is actually John the Baptist in the reincarnation, if you can receive it. Revelations 11:11. And after 3 days and a half, which is 350 years, the spirit of life from the heavenly Father entered into them. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Okay? And like I had previously mentioned, it started with Rabbi Abba Bivens, all right? After the 1960s, man. It started around 1619 to 350 years up until the 1960s, all right? And with the preaching of Rabbi Abba Bivens, okay, Malachi, the book of Malachi, let's go to it real quick. The book of Malachi, the prophecy in the book of Malachi was fulfilled, all right? Malachi 4 verse 5, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. All right, Elijah is John the Baptist, okay, and is also Rabbi Abba Bivens, all right? Now that's a whole nother lesson, but if you can receive it, whoever knows, it says, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the children of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. All right, so let's go back to Genesis 49. Slack if I'm all over the place. Lord willing, it's edifying, man. Genesis 49 and verse 9 says, Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. All right. Meaning, Judah will be at a state where they forgot who their enemy is, man. All right. Judah got brought here by slave ships and became docile like an old lion. All right. Forgot who they were, what their heritage is all about. And ultimately, that's fulfilling Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. Let's go and grab it. Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. And it's still burning, man. It's still burning. All right. Let's go into a little bit of history. All right. Because the tribe of Judah have been through absolute hell, man. Okay, not to say that the nation of the other half of the nation, the northern kingdom, didn't go through hell, but the southern kingdom, all right, they went through hell. Okay, in fact, how long ago? This is something that I typed in. How long ago did slavery end? It was the first. Salaki, bear with me. It was the first of the three Reconstruction Amendments adopted following the American Civil War. President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, effective on January 1st, 1863, which that ain't really do shit. All right, says declared that the enslaved and Confederate controlled areas were free. So ultimately, it hasn't even been 200 years. All right, it's been let me see, been 157 years. All right, since slavery supposedly ended. Okay, to the point. Now let's look at this real quick. The trans-Saharan slave trade. Okay, when you had the Ishmaelites getting down. Okay, Ishmaelites and the Europeans, they were getting down, trading off the southern kingdom. Let's read a little bit about it. It says both Muslims and Christians. Okay, when it says Christians, talking about the Edomites. All right, it says engaged in the slave trade in the Middle Ages, with the only general prohibition being enslavement of trading of co-religionists. The Muslim kingdoms of North Africa dominated. Trans-Saharan trade was dominated, using as their intermediary slack. I can't pronounce that. The various African empires that grew to occupy the western and central Sahara and its southern borders. All right, so just to take a look at it. All right, these are the routes, the trade routes. All right, you had you had Jake going all of that right there, man. Okay, and that's a punishment. Remember, this is a punishment that was brought upon ourselves. All right, so we really cannot be upset about this. Now, this is the slave. This is the transatlantic slave trade route right here. You see, from North America to Great Britain. All right, I mean from Great Britain to America. All right, to Africa. You see, transatlantic slave trade was complex and varied considerably over time and place, but it had far-reaching and lasting consequences for much of Europe, Africa, and Americas and Asia. First, it was a trade between European and African slavers who victimized millions of African men, women, and children, Israelites, primarily, the southern kingdom, okay, starting with Judah, the head tribe. And it says, first, it was a trade between the European and African slavers who victimized millions of African men, women, and children. All right, the Hamites got down. You did have some Israelites selling Israelites as well. All right, but it says Europeans used various methods to organize the Atlantic trade. Salakia. Spain licensed other nations to supply its Spanish American and Caribbean colonies with African captives. France the Netherlands and England initially used monopoly companies. In time, the demand for African laborers in the Americas was met by more open trade, which allowed other merchants to engage in the trade with Africans. That's pretty much it. If you brothers, whoever want to read more about it, you get it at slavery and remembrance.org and get some more. To the point where, you know, matter of fact, let's read this too before we get to the next point. It says, it's right here. The transatlantic slave trade began during the 15th century when Portugal and subsequently other European kingdoms were finally able to expand overseas and reach Africa. The Portuguese first began to kidnap people from the west coast of Africa and to take those they enslaved back to Europe. It is estimated that by the early 16th century, as much as 10% of Lisbon's population was of African descent. After European discovery of the American continent, the demand for African labor gradually grew, as other sources of labor, both European and American, were found to be insufficient. The Spanish took the first African captives to the Americas from Europe as early as 1503, and by 1518, the first captives were shipped directly from Africa to America. The majority of African captives were exported from the coast of West Africa, some 3,000 miles between what is now Senegal and Angola, and mostly from the modern Benin, Nigeria, and Cameroon. All right, so this is another website. If brothers want to go and check it out, this is the BBC History, Africa, and the Transatlantic Slave Trade. All right, let's take a now. The slave trade. The slave trade was bad, but even after slavery, all right, because there was tons of tragedy, you know, and hell brought upon the Southern Kingdom as well as the Northern Kingdom, man. Just pictures of some hangings. This is a website called withoutsanctuary.org. And thanks to first and foremost, Yahweh Shem Shai for actually putting the spirit upon the beloved apostle Ramla, to share this website. All right. So this is a hanging of a Jake right here. Okay. A man named Clyde Johnson in 1935. All right. I'm just gonna just go through it quick. A few. Um, gallows, courthouse jail. This is another hanging. Tons of hangings, man. Is this another one? Unidentified corpse of African American male. This is all hangings of the of this is all hangings that the Edomites did to the Israelites, man. The corpses of George and Ed Silsby with the large group of spectators, and this infuriates you, man. Spectators at the lynching of Jesse Washington, one man raised for a better view. 1916, Waco, Texas. Look at all of these people, man. All of these people watching Jake get hanged, bro. Shit's crazy, man. Lynching of Leo Franco, 1915. All right. So like I said, um, this is withoutsanctuary.org if you want to take a little deeper look into that. All right. Now, then Jake started to get a few, as the years went on, a few more privileges. All right. Esau was letting them, you know, do things a little bit more freely, because shit was, people were rising up and saying shit. People were actually getting tired of all of that wickedness that Esau's raising upon, on Israel. All right. But to the point, this is actually a website called AtlantaBlackStar.com. This is 9 startling facts about the first black police officers in Atlanta. Let's read about it. It says in 1948, the first black officers were Claude Dixon, Henry Hooks, Johnny Jones, Ernest Leones, Robert McKebbins, John Sanders, Willard Strickland, and Willie Elkins. These men were proud to be on the force, but they had no power, respect, or real authority in their new roles. Okay, my son, as we read here, let's go back and read it. Genesis 49 and verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. Okay, says these men were proud to be on the force, but they had no power, respect, or real authority in their new roles. This new opportunity brought discrimination from within the department and from the community itself. They could not arrest whites, ride in patrol cars, or use police headquarters. You know, they even when they felt like they had power, they still didn't have shit, man. All right, they thought it was this is just some cool ass shit. They think they're gonna be a part of the police force, a part of the same ones that actually brought hell upon them, you know. But let's go back. Let's go back, man. Genesis 49 and verse 9. Continuing on, he stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? And the question is, I mean, the answer to that question is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, remember I had previously mentioned, okay, your spirit that you know Yahweh Shem Al Shai raised up Abba Bivens, okay, who was a Judite, all right, and later on he's gonna raise up Judah, all right, to turn him up, okay, and that in the prey, okay, the prey is Esau that we read about here. From the prey, my son, thou art going up. Okay, that prey is Esau. Okay, Judah got friendly with him. Judah's in a docile state. Okay, but who's gonna raise him up? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is gonna raise him up, man. Let's continue on. The sceptre shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Now, real quick, let's look up this word scepter, sceptre. Salak, if I'm not pronouncing it right. Okay, sceptre is the mark of authority. Okay, and truly, that's going into like the lineage of kings of Judah. Okay, that kingship wasn't gonna depart from Judah. Salak it. Bear with me. It's fucking headache. All right, let's read Matthew. Let's read Matthew 1. The book of generation, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham. All right, this is the genealogy. This is the genealogy of Yahweh Shah, man. And these are all kings of Judah. All right, you can read about these kings in the book of First and Second Kings. Okay, now going back to Genesis 49 in verse 10, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come. And who is Shiloh? Shiloh is Yahweh Shai. All right, real quick, let's go to that word Shiloh. That word Shiloh means Salakia. That word Shiloh means what? It comes from the word Shalom, meaning to be at rest. Okay, to be at rest. All right, peace. All right, and Yahweh Shai himself, he is our peace. Okay, bear with me, Salakia. Okay, now with that being said, let's go to Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 13. But now in the anointed Yahweh Shai, ye who sometimes were far off are made nigh by the blood of the anointed. Right. You know, the Israelite foreigners. For he is our peace, who made both one and have broken down the middle wall or partitions between us. Okay, by unifying the tribes. okay, by unifying the tribes. In Ezekiel, the 37th chapter talks about the two sticks becoming one, coming together. All right, let's go back to Genesis 49. We'll go start verse 11. Binding his foal unto the vine, and his ashes coat unto the choice vine, he washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of the grapes. All right, and Yahweh Shai, he drank a lot of wine when he was on the earth, man. He drank a lot of wine, as well as he's gonna come with vengeance, man. He's gonna come with vengeance. You read Isaiah the 63rd chapter. It talks about who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments. I don't want to butcher that. Isaiah 63. Who is this that Isaiah 63 and 1? Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? Right? That's Yahweh Shai. Okay? As we read it here, Genesis 49, 49 and 11, his clothes in the blood of the grapes. Okay? Now, this also was a prophecy that was fulfilled. All right? Uh, 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 um, let's go and grab it. Matthew 11, verse, let me see. We'll start at verse 16. But whereunto shall I liken this generation? It is like unto children singing the Marcus and calling unto their fellows and saying, we have piped unto you and ye have not danced. We have mourned unto you and ye have not lamented. Right. That's symbolic of the prophets speaking the word unto the Israelites. All right. And them not taking heed, man. It says, for John came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he has a devil. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, behold, a man gluttonous and a winebibber, a friend of publicans and sinners, but wisdom is justified of her children. Right. So that's the precept to prove that he was a drinker, that he drank while he was out here. All right. Now let's go to Zechariah 9 and verse 9. It says, rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just in having salvation, lowly in riding upon an ass, and upon a colt, the foal of an ass. You see? Now let's go to Matthew chapter 21 and verse 6. And the disciples went and did as Yahweh Shai commanded them, and brought the ass and the colt, and put on them their clothes, and they sat him there on. Okay? So Yahweh Shai fulfilled that prophecy, which proves that he is Shiloh. Here, Genesis 49 and verse 11. And he's going to come again. He's going to come back. Okay? He's going to come back. Okay? And he's going to redeem his elect. All right? Genesis 49:11, binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass's coat unto the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. All right? He's going to come with vengeance in his glory. All right? He's going to redeem his people, his elect, and he's going to put things back the way it's supposed to be, man, in order. But this wraps up part 3, Genesis 49 series. And Lord willing, you was edifying. Shalom.